First, the Supreme Court ordering a probe into surveillance using Pegasus spyware. Justice R.V. Ravindran, retired top court judge, will head that probe panel. An ex-IPS officer and technical experts will assist the probe panel head. The fact-finding committee will look into allegations of unauthorized surveillance and report back to the Supreme Court before its next hearing, which is in 2 months. Well, the court making several very important points today. The top court saying a need may arise to intrude privacy, but consideration for use of technology must follow constitutional process. It does not mean the state gets a free pass every time national security is raised. The court won't encroach on national security, but that does not make the court a mute spectator. Important concerns also for the freedom of press, a key pillar of democracy. The court said it gave ample opportunity to the government to give details of action taken by it. They gave a limited affidavit which did not give clarity. The court goes on to say a vague denial from the government is not sufficient and hence allegations need to be probed. It goes on to talk about the nature of the allegations, saying fundamental rights could have been violated and this could have a chilling effect on citizens. My colleague Sukirti has been reporting on that story. She spoke to Shadan Farasat, advocate for one of the petitioners.
It's a very progressive judgment on that aspect. The Union of India effectively across the bar, that is in oral arguments, had made a submission that national security implications will be there without in any way really substantiating as to what those national security implications will be. And the court was therefore of the view that, of course, we are extremely concerned with national security as an issue, but you have to provide us material to show how national security is implicated. You can't just use it as a passing argument without substantiating it, and therefore they rejected that argument. And they said this is the way they looked at it is a violation of citizens' right to privacy under the Constitution, which does need some redress. So prima facie, they did find some material and some credibility in what the petitioners had to say. We are happy because, as you know, the allegation was that NSO software is sold only to governments. Now, based on that, because we also as petitioners don't have complete knowledge, based on that, our submission was that, listen, it's the finger of suspicion is at the government as well. Investigation will reveal who all, but at least at the government as well. So surely when the finger of suspicion is at the government as well, the government cannot be investigating itself. You need an independent mechanism. And the Supreme Court seems to have gone with that line.
All right, joining us to take this further, Virag Gupta, advocate and cyber law expert, N.S. Napinai, advocate in the Supreme Court and founder of the Cyber Sathi Foundation, Rakesh Trivedi, senior advocate in the Supreme Court, and Deshratan Nigam, political analyst and lawyer, is also with us. N.S. Napinai, let me begin with you. You wrote an article some days ago when you talked about the government's refusal to furnish more details, as the Supreme Court had asked, could result in an adverse inference being drawn by the Supreme Court. Now, that's exactly what seems to have happened here, with the court saying the government can't get a free pass.
Absolutely right, Ankita. And there were 2 or 3 things. It almost seems like a prediction today, but I can tell you for every practitioner, these are things which we would know as a matter of rote. So the first thing, as I had said, was where opportunity was given, and that too repeatedly so, where the center did not file the affidavit. It was inevitable that the Supreme Court would constitute this committee. Right. Secondly, once these allegations came up with respect to possibility of use of a spyware and the kind of personalities who became part of that narrative, it was imperative that the government took up this investigation or inquiry of its own accord. It had sufficient time and opportunity, and it is very unfortunate that they missed the bus there. And though they did undertake before the court saying that they will constitute the committee, I think that was a little too late, too late by then. And finally, now and as I have said in my article also, nothing under law gives the imprimatur for use of spyware for surveillance, even where it is surveillance within certain provisions of law, be it under the Information Technology Act or the Indian Telegraphs Act. both of these require very strict procedures to be followed, and you can only do the surveillance through the help of the intermediaries or the service providers whose platform the communication channels are hosted on. So given all these restrictions, the limited requirement that was needed really from the government, and I believe it remains so even today, is it's not about, they need to delineate between purchase and usage. What the Supreme Court was concerned with and what the Supreme Court kept asking for clarifications on was on usage. So even today, before the committee also, it would behoove the government to focus on this aspect and to give precise information, because with that, this controversy can be easily closed. Without clarity with respect to usage, this concern, the chilling effect that the Supreme Court has been talking about, and our fears will remain unallayed.
Okay, I want to take that across to Virag Gupta, who's also with us on the program. Virag Gupta, do you think the centre missed the bus? It had the opportunity to file this detailed affidavit in the Supreme Court. It, said it needed more time to think about it, not once but twice. And then it didn't do it in the end. Could that have been, the chance it had to really clear any kind of confusion on usage of Pegasus spyware? As the court pointed out today, at no point have we actually heard the government deny the use of Pegasus spyware.
Morally, legally and academically, this judgment, this order looks very attractive, but practically, I don't see much hope from this order. There are 3 points. Number one, that there is no time limit fixed for the expert committee. And the next date of hearing is also not fixed. It's only after 8 weeks. So no definite time frame is there. We don't know when this overall investigation is going to be completed. Now, the second point is that certain answers were needed from the government, and government refused to give those answers before the Supreme Court. Now, if the government is not answering before the Supreme Court, how a delegated expert committee can get those answers? Because this is not matter of investigation. This is matter of getting certain reply from the government. So if the government is not giving that reply before the Supreme Court, how will the expert committee get that? The second thing. Third is that past experience shows that such committees and these commissions have not of much help. Whether Justice Patnaik committee report on the functioning of the Supreme Court, or the Agriculture Committee report, or the Andhra Pradesh Police Encounter report, all those committees, I don't think that have given any some fruitful results or the report. So I don't see any much help is going to be there by this order. Yes, morally and legally it looks very attractive.
Morally and legally it looks attractive, but can an expert committee get to the bottom of the Pegasus issue? Is the centre going to reveal all to a committee when they've not revealed very much to the nation so far? Deshratan Nigam, bear in on this. Did the centre actually miss an opportunity to set the record straight when it could have already done so? The very fact that this is dragging on, the perception of all of this.
Ankita, one thing, if you recall, during the hearing, the Supreme Court had already made it clear in one of the hearings that they are in the process of formation of the committee. Therefore, they had already disclosed their mind. And on the other hand, Government of India had clearly said in the court that they are willing to discuss it with the expert committee appointed by them, monitored by the Supreme Court. And they said, we cannot debate this sensitive issue involving national security in public domain through affidavits and counter affidavits. So what we see is a balancing which the Supreme Court has done, except that the committee has not been formed by the Government of India, which is very natural because an independent committee should investigate, and therefore they have created the independent investigative mechanism. And Government of India did not itself form a committee because the Supreme Court had already disclosed its mind on the subject.
Okay.
And secondly, let me just finish.
Yeah.
Since the national security was involved, so Government of India was clearly of the opinion that they will give the material and disclose the material to the expert committee, not in public domain. and therefore Government of India will have to give it, since they've already agreed
Okay,
they
fair
will
enough.
give it to the
Let's
expert
take up
committee.
both those points, and I'm going to go across to Rakesh Trivedi with them. Rakesh Trivedi, would you agree with Deshratan Nigam when he says this is a sort of, a balancing act, as it were, by the Supreme Court? We've heard it say, a vague denial by the centre is not sufficient. We've heard the court say today that you cannot invoke national security as a sort of a blanket wall to hide behind. Would you say that that is in any way a sort of, a balancing act by the court?
Well, first of all, the order passed today is quite historic, because it is the want of governments, whether central or state, to take refuge behind national security, nationalism, and public orders and security to ward off the court inquiry. So when we filed a petition on behalf of certain journalists whose phones had been found to be infected by this malware, and there was enough material before the court. So the attempt of the government side was that we will not disclose, we will not say anything in the affidavit, because we can't tell what sort of spywares we are using against terrorists, etc. But what was being missed was that the petitioners who were before the court, none of them were terrorists. They were reputed journalists and they were being spied. That was their case. Now, therefore, this judgment which has been passed, though interim, it makes it very clear that the courts will not allow the government to get away by simply saying that there is need of national security, to avoid telling the court itself as to whether they have used or not used it.
Okay.
So that's very important.
But Mr. Trivedi, in your opinion, can an expert committee actually get to the bottom of the Pegasus issue? Are you hopeful that the centre will reveal all to this fact-finding committee?
I am hopeful, because Justice Ravindran is a man of integrity. His dispassionate stature is not doubted. He will get to the bottom. But of course, much depends on how cooperative and straightforward the government is in producing information. But let me tell you that if the government refuses to produce evidence before that, then surely the committee is in a position to draw adverse inferences, as Supreme Court has done prima facie on account of the refusal of the union government to come forward with a clear affidavit in response.
Right.
So I am quite hopeful, and the country must repose trust, and we should be hopeful rather than be skeptic.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us on this short discussion.